Lady Danny, and I used to be an herbicidal maniac. Now don't get me wrong, I did some gardening. We used to have spectacular wisteria. But after the death of my mother and brother, people began sending houseplants. Quite a few, actually. And I didn't really know what to do. So I decided to learn what I could about these houseplants to keep them alive and thriving. This is very much a learning process, but you might remember some of my early successes. So let's build on that. And while I'm no master gardener, I'm hoping by sharing these tips and tricks I've learned about houseplants, you too can put that serial killer plant pest behind you. So you've probably seen this plant before. This is Aglaonema commutatum, and that is Chinese evergreen. They're one of the houseplants that a lot of people start with because it's not too difficult to take care of. You basically water it, it needs some light, but it doesn't need direct light. It can do indirect light, it can even do a hallway. As far as temperature goes, these plants like between about 61 and 77 degrees. That's what most of us find comfortable as a living condition, so it should be okay. It doesn't need an extraordinary amount of light. I'm getting some diffused light, but it is near a window. But these can even take less light, including office spaces and even a hallway. The biggest thing you'll want to make sure is it's not somewhere where it's getting a draft. It can survive some temperature changes, but just not drastic ones. Some people choose to mist these instead of watering them. And if you have a more warm environment, that could be fine. But for me, my house is a bit drafty and a tiny bit chilly, so I would rather water it from the bottom and not mist it. While I use watering cans for some plants, for things like this, I actually prefer a more direct method. Here's the pot in which it's planted, and this is just a decorative pot. So I'll take this pot and I'll put it in the basin and just let some water run through it. Then, once everything is nice and wet, I'll turn off the tap and leave it here to drain. I am so aware that there are people out there screaming now like, oh my God, you can't be using water from the tap. I do. If you want to let it sit for 24 hours and just put that over your plant, that's fine. I mean, I do that for certain plants, like for my peace lilies, because I know they can be a little more temperamental, but this baby is really pretty hardy, and as long as you give it some love and attention, a little schuylkill punch is not going to kill it. And after draining for about 40 minutes, I'm putting it back in its decorator pot. I will transplant this one soon because, as you can see, it's got a number of good, strong, viable plants in here, at least 3. So I'll probably split those up, but for right now, it's very comfortable sitting where it is, not far from its other friends, close to a window, as long as it gets water and it's told how beautiful it is every day. And you are. So that's it. The takeaways are temperature between 61 and 77. It will accept lower light or good diffused light, water, but not too much, and give it some love. Don't be mean, be keen on green, and love that Chinese evergreen.